Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we love makeup. But we're really here for real makeup, for real life, and real people like us. So today's video I am very excited to do. I received for my birthday recently these 3 palettes from Essence. These are not new to the market, but they are new to me. I know so many people have discovered these, love these, collecting them like Pokemon cards. And I'm excited to share with you not only the looks that I created today, but my thoughts and feelings on these palettes after having used every shade. So with that said, we're going to get into 3 looks and then I will share with you my review at the end. Hi guys, let's get into the Bronze This Way palette. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start things off with the matte brown. And I'm gonna place this on the outer part of the lid, just tapping it on. And then once I have most of the pigment off, I'll turn my brush over and start flicking it up in the crease toward my brow. And now I'm gonna go into this sort of rosy matte shade right here. And I'm gonna start this in the front part of the crease, and then I will use it to blend out the dark brown as well. It's definitely getting deeper than I intended though. Flat topped blending brush, no additional product, and just blend those edges out. I just realized I forgot to set my primer. So that's probably why the rosy shade just really clung on there. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of that matte cream shade, just a little bit. Start it off up by my brow here, and then use it to blend the edges. I'm gonna take just a little bit of whatever's left on my flat shader brush of that deeper brown and bring it just very lightly on the lower lash line. Next, we're gonna go into this shade right here, which seems like a beautiful rose gold shade, using my same flat shader brush. This is actually a decent mirror. I feel like it's less cumbersome. I think I'm gonna like this better with the finger. It's, you know, less cumbersome. It's very lightweight compared to a lot of palettes. And then I'm going to next go into this little gold number right here. It looks like it should be nice and brightening on the inner part of the lid. I'm hoping it is. And just for the sake of using all of the shades, I'm going to go ahead and go into this metallic brown shade and use this on the lower lash line. I'm going to go ahead and go back into the matte cream shade for the inner corner. A little bit brightening. I like it. I am not going to lie to you though and tell you that I think this is the best quality eyeshadow palette I've ever used, but it is good. It's very good. I'm gonna pop off of here, do some liner, mascara, a lip, the hair, the whole thing, and then we'll see what we think at the end. All right, we're back. This is the completed look. Bronze This Way. I like this look very much. I just cannot sit here and tell you that this is like the best eyeshadow palette in the world. Is it really good for the price? Yes, but I like to tell you if a palette's either good or not. Not good for the price, good for the amount of product. That has nothing to do with whether the product is good or not. The product is good. It is not great. And it partially could be because I forgot to set my eyeshadow primer that I struggled a little bit, but also like the textures of the metallic shadows is somewhat texture enhancing on my eyelids. So, and I don't have that with all other formulas of eyeshadow, but am I really happy to have this? Absolutely. I love little mini palettes, and this one is very good. Hi guys, let's get into the Coral Me Maybe palette. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start things off in the crease with this shade right here. Definitely comes off a bit more peachy than I thought it would, but it's a nice transition shade. All right, next we're gonna go into the Coral Matte right here. I'm just pressing this on first, and then we'll give it a blend. And I did remember to set my eyeshadow primer today. Now, I think we should go into the dark matte brown in here. I'm just pressing this on the outer, turns out half of my lid here. Taking the same fluffy brush that we've been using and just very, very soft motions to blend it out. I am definitely wanting to start off with the darkest shimmer here. So this is going to be kind of our center of the lid shade. I'm starting to think that these shimmers really perform best with a brush. It's so interesting because most shimmers I prefer to apply with my fingers. I'm gonna go in with this shade. It's the shimmer in the top row. And when I swatched this, it's a beautiful peachy shade, but it also has a golden shift to it, which makes it even more fun and interesting. I would say I was most excited by and interested in this shade when I swatched all three palettes for Instagram. All right, for the lower lash line, I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of that original transition shade. Nothing too crazy. I may or may not bring my eyeliner down to the lower lash line. All right, so in this palette, the only shade we did not use is this little gold number up here. It is pretty. I mean, it definitely is pretty. Why not? I'm gonna take a little tiny brush right here and I'm gonna place this on the center of the lid, right where the two shimmers kind of meet, and just give this a little brightening in the center. All right, I'm gonna pop off of here, do some liner, mascara, a lip, the hair, the whole deal, and then I'll be back to show you the completed look with the Coral Me Maybe palette. All right, we're back. I finished off the eyes with my Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now eyeliner. This is the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Extreme Lash Multiplying Volume Mascara. Lips, I struggled with a little bit. I used my new lip liner from Sephora. This is the Rouge Gel Lip Liner in the shade Dressed to the 90s. It's called a Brownie Plum, and I really like it. Probably not right for this look, but it is what it is. My favorite nude lipstick, Charlotte Tilbury Very Victoria. Love this. And then for a little gloss all across, my Rimmel Stay Glossy in the shade Blushing Belgraves. I will say I feel like I had an easier experience with this one versus the Bronzed This Way palette. This is the palette I personally would have purchased for myself out of the ones that are available had I went ahead and purchased one. So it could just be that I'm more excited about the color story. I really feel like the mattes are super cohesive, that you can build a really beautiful gradient using the mattes that they've provided here. And I also love all three of the shimmers. I could see using them alone, paired together, etc. So far so good. Stay tuned because the last palette is my favorite color of eyeshadow to wear. So we're gonna see what we can come up with next. Hi guys, welcome to the last look with the last palette, and it is the Dancing Green. So I'm gonna try and start things off in my crease and transition with this more army green kind of shade here, kind of placing it where I want it first. This actually works pretty well to blend out. I think you could go really deep with it or not. The plan is not today, but famous last words. All right, next I'm gonna go into the deepest matte green in the palette right here. I'm taking kind of a little angled fluffy brush here, and I'm gonna place this on the outer part of the lid, outer V of the eye. And as I have less pigment on the brush, I'll bring it up into the crease a little bit to blend. I think the more you build it up, the less patchy it would appear. Let's go into the deepest shimmer in the palette and just sort of start this on the outer part of the lid. And then I'm going to go into, I think, this more yellowy light green first. I'm gonna put that on the inner half or so of the lid. I just like to try and use all the shades in these looks for you guys, so you know I've tried them all when I give my review at the end of this video. And now I'm gonna take this lightest metallic green on my finger, and we're gonna pop this in between the other two. Instead of this being a matte, this third shade, it has a little bit of a satin finish to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on the inner corner. I also think I'm gonna pop a little of this under the brow, the arch of the brow. I think for the lower lash line, I'm gonna go back into this army green here and just kind of smoke it out. All right, now I'm gonna pop off, do liner, lashes, a lip, and then we'll come back. I'll tell you what I think about the Dancing Green palette, all three palettes as an overall review, and I'm going to rank the three palettes in the order of which I prefer. This is the completed look. I did finish off the eyes with my Believe Beauty Long Lasting Eyeliner in the shade Olivia. That is a deep olive green. And for mascara, the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Extreme Mascara. For lips, the Milani Nude Entrance Understatement Lip Liner. The lipstick that I'm panning is the MAC and Patrick Star Sweet Mama Star Lipstick. And the Fenty Gloss Bomb in the original Fenty Glow shade. Let's talk about the palettes as a group overall. They're very good, I will say that, and especially for the price. I've mentioned before, I don't like when people say it's good for the price. It either is good or it isn't good, you know what I mean? And so it is good. I will say all three of these are good, very good maybe even, but they're not great or exceptional in my mind. I think while you have more selection by two shades in these compared to the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows, I prefer the texture, at least of the shimmers, in the bite-size eyeshadow palettes. I think if you know what you're getting into, you understand that this is a drugstore eyeshadow formula, and it does behave like one that's made with slightly less refined ingredients, if you will. They're a great little buy. If you've been wanting to dip your toe into green eyeshadows, this was a great affordable way to do so. You have three very different shimmers in here, as well as a couple of green mattes to try out. If you find that there's a color story that's missing from your collection of eyeshadows, for example, maybe you don't have any coral eyeshadows in your collection and you want to try it out for spring, this would be a beautiful way to do that at $3.99. And another great reason to purchase these, I think, would be for travel. I realize we're not doing a ton of travel right now, but some people still have to travel for their jobs or etc. My husband being one of those people. So these palettes or something like this Bronze This Way, it has a beautiful curation of neutral shades in here. There are other neutral ones that have been added to this collection of mini palettes. Let's rank these. Coming in at number 3 is the Bronze This Way. Keep in mind, I like all 3 of these. This just falls where it does because it's neutral. It's not necessarily unique to my collection, but it is something I will reach for, like my Pumpkin Pie Quad from e.l.f. I reach for that all the time for quick and easy eye looks. I love a good brownie bronze shade. And I would say this one comes in top for me in terms of matte shadows and in terms of performance as well as the colorway. I really liked this sort of rosy terracotta shade. Coming in at number 2, I would say, is Dancing Green. I know this is shocking to some of you. You know how much I love green and I love green eyeshadow, and there's nothing whatsoever wrong with this one. We just talked about it. I think it's really nice to have this little addition of a satin shade in here, just because it works beautifully for an inner corner, or you could layer it over the khaki shade to just sort of have a really soft everyday look. All 3 of the shimmers are quite different, and so I find that this would add value to someone's collection if you don't have a lot of greens already. The only reason it came in at number 2 is because of Coral Me Maybe. Had this been a different shade way or colorway, it might have been a different result. For whatever reason, when I saw this, specifically the matte shades stood out to me, but then also this sort of, I don't know what you would call this, a plummy bronze shade, super unique. I love a good peach shade, and this one is no different. You can see it has a slightly golden shift to it. And then this one I think is the one that's really surprising because it's a gold, but it definitely has like a peachiness to it as well. This one for me had to win. Number 1, I love the matte color choices in here. And number 2, I thought that the 3 metallics that they added in here were really unique as well. I love the pairing of sort of a plummy color with peach, coral, even gold. And I think ultimately I really enjoyed the look I created with this one the most out of the looks that I created. But I do think with all 3 of the palettes that there are many more looks to be created. 2 shadow looks, 3 shadow looks. I just mostly tried to incorporate all of the shades in each of the palettes so that you could see them in action and make an informed decision in case you were thinking about one of these. So, do I recommend? Yeah, absolutely. I think for $4 and for any of the reasons that I stated, or just because you want them, these are a great little thing to have knocking around in your makeup. And I do really like that they actually have the mirror in here and that these completely open up. This makes a really easy way, as you saw multiple times throughout the video, that I did actually use the mirrors in these. And it has a nice sturdy plastic packaging, which is definitely not the case with the e.l.f. bite-sized ones. So these definitely win in terms of packaging. I still like the shimmer formula just a little bit more and the e.l.f. bite size, but these are not bad by any means. I'm very thankful to have them in my collection. I really, really like these. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate your time as always. Let me know down below, have you tried any of these? Do you recommend them? Sound off in the comments, because my opinion is just one opinion based on my experience, not only with these eyeshadows, but with other eyeshadows in my collection. So we're all going to have different opinions on these. And with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I will see you in my next video soon.